Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, I am so excited to be bringing on one of the dental industry's greatest key opinion leaders, the one and only Mike Buckner. That is a total joke, guys. Mike and I actually know each other from before, and he is actually super rad, one of my favorite people. I had to just throw that out there. It's a funny joke that he and I will get, but he truly is so brilliant, and he works for a company called Pearl. Now, the reason I wanted to have him on the podcast is one, he's a super rad guy, but two, guys, if you want to figure out how to change dentistry and to be in the forefront of dentistry and the changes, guys, this is where it's at, and I cannot wait to geek out with Mike on AI, how it's going to help you guys diagnose more, have better hygiene case acceptance. Mike, welcome to the show today. How are you?
I'm so good. Thanks so much for having me on. It's good to reconnect with you.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So if you haven't heard, guys, Pearl is a pretty new company, but it's been in the making for quite a while, and it's using AI. And when I first heard about this, when Mike said, "Hey, Kiera, I'm over at Pearl," and I was like, "Cool. I don't even know what this does." It is actually so freaking rad, and I cannot wait. I know some of you are listening, but we are surely recording this today as well because I want to run these as reels to show you what's going on. So, Mike, just in a quick, I don't know, whatever you choose to share, what is Pearl? And then guys, get excited because I truly do believe that this is the future of dentistry. And I'm so geeking out about being one of the first people to know about it. So Mike, just kind of share, what is Pearl? What is this AI? What is the future of dentistry from your guys' perspective?
Absolutely. So Pearl is, we really brought in AI into the dental space in March of this year with comprehensive FDA clearance. I'll kind of explain what that means, but basically what we're doing is we're taking your 2D Xrays, your bite wings, your PAs, we're basically running those through artificial intelligence, our computing software, to go in and to detect and to analyze really what is seen on those radiographs. So the reason why this is such a big deal, well, first of all, this has been in the medical space for some time. AI has been implemented with mammograms, with cancerous pathologies, all sorts of technology in medicine. And we're kind of late to the game. Mm-hmm. And the reason why it's such a big deal is because the human eye can really only differentiate or distinguish between 30 and 50 different shades of gray. Now, with AI and with computers, we're able to really break down and to analyze between 550 and 750 different shades of gray. So you think about that, the very first stop when we have our patients come in and sit down and we take those X-rays is really looking at those 2D images, the X-rays, to see, where do they have caries? Is there bone loss? Periapical radiolucency. And oftentimes I have yet to speak with a dentist who does not say, "You know what, Mike, there absolutely are days I know I miss things. Mm-hmm. I know that our team's moving so fast. And sometimes, it's hard to differentiate. Is it cervical burnout? Is this caries? Are we picking everything up? If the patient's pointing to pain over here, are we only looking at the images, what's going on here, or everything in the mouth?"
For sure. And what I love about this is because coaching so many doctors, so many teams, I always hear the uncomfortable of "Kiera, I don't really want to diagnose that. I know it's there, but maybe we could watch it." Hygienists doing bloody prophies because they don't want to tell a patient that they have SRP, that they need to get that calculus below. And so literally, it's funny, Mike and I had our podcast scheduled, and this last weekend I was actually at a conference and they were talking about Pearl. It was the first time I had seen it. Mike and I haven't seen what their software was. I just knew it was going to be pretty cool. And when I saw this, guys, on the screen, which is why Mike's going to have to share screen. So those of you listening while you're driving, be sure to email in, make sure you check this out. I think it's super rad. Because when I saw that, my first thought was, oh my gosh, hallelujah. Case acceptance is going to skyrocket. doctors will have less of a hard time diagnosing treatment. Also, there's that whole statistic where if you are seeing too many hygiene patients, your diagnosis actually goes down because you're exhausted, you're tired, and you can't see it, and you're running from room to room to room. So I literally thought, as I saw this software and as I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, offices are going to be able to see more hygiene, treat more patients, and be able to diagnose better because they're not relying on looking at these Xrays that really do have 50 shades of gray, which are really more than that. And then also helping the patients say yes because they can see it. And it's not like this mechanic who's telling us that there's something under the hood that we can't see. So I'm just like obsessed with all the cool things that are coming from this. So Mike, for sure, show us. I want people to be able to see this on your screen. I will be trying to explain it to you guys listening as well. But it is so freaking cool. And I think of all those benefits, higher case acceptance, more confidence for doctors to diagnose, less exam fatigue, better experiences for hygienists to be able to diagnose and not to be able to show their patients that they need to have this SRP. It's just going to make the conversations that much easier because now patients are seeing what you're seeing through AI, which is so cool. So, and also I think of like how many dentists have I gone into and I'm like, that is surely, I'm no dentist, but I know that's surely an MO. And they're like, we'll just watch it. And I'm like, what are you watching? Like, I'm not even a dentist. But they tell me that they're just afraid to share with the patient and to tell them because they don't want to be over-diagnosing. But man, if you see AI, which is not you, it's an unbiased software that's telling us what's there, then it's a conversation of how are we going to get this done, not what is the treatment and are you really telling me the truth? So Mike, anything else you want to share? But I'm so excited to geek out on this because I'm already geeking and cannot wait for people to use this.
Yeah, it's interesting because I often hear that. I often hear that we get really, picky about what we're actually going to tell the patient, what we're going to present to them in treatment. But you think of any other field within medicine. I mean, if I'm going in for a screening, if I'm going in for, an MRI, a scan, do you think that the doctor's like, well, should we tell him about this one? Because he's probably not going to do anything about that. Or should we bring this up here? Or, he's got a tumor over here. Should we bring that up? It's probably benign. No, it's like our responsibility as healthcare providers is to provide our patients with the best standard of care, the best dentistry that we can provide. That's our job as professionals, is to say, you know what, they're coming to us, they've selected us, we are going to highlight, we're going to provide the best level of dentistry. Now, for them, the patient's job is to then decide what they want, how they want to proceed. Are they going to accept some of, all of, or none of the treatment? Mm-hmm. But it's really up to us to present everything. Now, AI really helps us present the treatment in a way that takes the emotions out of it, because we're really just putting it up on the screen. These are X-rays where you take the X-rays instantaneously. You'll see what AI has highlighted and is saying, hey, we are predicting. Now, we're not diagnosing, but we're predicting that based upon what we're pulling into this image, there's a high likelihood that there's caries present here, or that there's calculus present, or periapical radiolucency present. So when you're showing this to the patient, which can be shown because this is FDA cleared, but when you're showing this to the patient is now saying, oh, well, tell me, what does this line here mean? Or why is this colored pink? What does that mean? And you're letting the patients in on this decision to come together with the dentist to say, here's what's going on. Let's come up with a treatment plan together.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you brought that up of the medical one, because I tell everyone, I would hate if I went in there and they saw on my scans, Kiera's got this, but we're just going to tell her she's got a cold and like to go take some orange juice. Like, what the heck? Like, at least let me know. So I love that. And I agree. I feel like it's our moral obligation to our patients to truly show them what's going on, and then to let them decide. But guys, a picture's worth a bajillion words. So showing that is going to help. Mike, can you kind of explain, because you and I were talking pre-show, how this even came about? Like you said, for them to get the AI in the process, you guys have been working on this since 2015, and you had, I don't even know the number of X-rays that came through with actual clinicians looking at this. Because I was wondering, like, will doctors agree with the quote unquote diagnosis that AI is saying this is what it should be? But you're telling me there's a ton of information done by real humans, real dentists, to be able to make this AI probably even better potentially the human eye is on its own. That's what's so cool about
Yeah.
AI and creepy is it's actually better and smarter than humans.
Yeah. So this process really is years in the making, and how we have been able to program the computers to read these X-rays and to highlight where there are areas of pathology or detection is it really had to start with us feeding in these X-rays into the computer to train the computer as to what does periapical radiolucency look like? What does calculus look like? And we had to have hundreds of doctors, hundreds of dentists to go in and to annotate and to basically train and teach these computers on what they're seeing and what these things look like. So after literally millions of X-rays, we've been able to dial in the software to be able to read these and not only read it, but also kind of highlight, okay, how much of the caries is in the dentin and, in the cementum, and really break down even the anatomy of the tooth.
Oh, so cool. Okay, Mike, share your screen. Let's dive into this. So you guys can see, I'll explain it to you. He's going to show us some X-rays. And it's so incredible. So like I said, those of you who are just listening, be sure to pop on. I know that the team will be making you guys some reels on social media as well, so you can see it. But right now, Mike has an X-ray up on there. So it's a PA, and there are green squares, white little lines, yellow lines, and then a pink blob where there is clearly decay. I can see it and I'm no dentist, so I'm not diagnosing, but I'm pretty confident. And then on the right, there's a little legend that the green is for calculus, the pink is for caries, and then there's other things on there as well. And then you've got your measurements as well. So Mike, that's what I'm seeing. You tell us what it is. Dive into this.
So I'm gonna just take these off here for a second, because when we're looking at this, for the doctors, the hygienists that are looking at this, if I take off those annotations, our eyes automatically will like jump around and say, "Yep, I see calculus, I see decay." Our eyes will kind of just jump all over if we're just looking at the black and white. Now I'm going to turn the annotations back on. This is now what, as we're presenting this to the patients, and we're saying, okay, there's decay here. Pointing it out. If I don't have these on here and I'm showing this to the patient, let's be honest, the patient is not used to reading radiographs. And for them, it could just look like a normal tooth. I mean, it's an X-ray. Reading black and white, I don't know, prior to this, it was like, I can't make sense of what I'm looking at. Now, I'm going to turn on another feature here that we call tooth parts. Okay, so tooth parts, and again, I'm just going to focus on this area, the pink blob that Kiera was talking about, where if I hover over this, it's going to actually give me the breakdown and show me that 82% of the decay here is in the dentin and 18% is in the enamel. Now, if I'm presenting that to the patient, at this point, they're still saying, okay, what is dentin and what is enamel? Help me understand. So I'm going to turn on this button. It's called tooth parts. And when I turn this on, I'm going to also turn on a little key that will tell me exactly what all of the anatomy, like all the anatomy or the parts of the tooth, what they all mean, and all the different colors. So I have like my pulp that's in pink. I've got the cementum in kind of a teal color, dentin in the green, enamel in the purple. So it's really helping me see where all the parts are, why, how close this decay is to the pulp. And now this will help me educate the patient to say, okay, today, the treatment plan that we've presented or how we're going to take care of this is X, Y, and Z. But because this is literally so close to the pulp, and I can even take a measurement and say, let's take a look here. We are 1.1 millimeters away from the pulp, right? So 1.17 millimeters away from the pulp. If we wait any longer, the treatment plan when you come back is going to be completely different, because once this encroaches into the pulp, we're going to have to treat it as X, Y, and Z. So it really helps me to present the data, to educate them on what all these parts mean, and allow me just to present this without the emotion of, I don't want the patient to think that I'm overdiagnosing.
Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, how was your 2022? I want you to look back and tell me, was it the year of years, or was it a really hard year? Did you crush it, or did it crush you? This is the time, guys, for end of year. Dental A-Team Platinum is welcoming you, where we will physically fly to your practice. We will come and we will elevate your dreams and make them into a reality. And guys, space is limited and prices are going up. This is not a sales pitch. This is not something where I'm trying to scare you into it. I'm just facing the reality of inflation is here, flights are expensive, and I want to see as many people as we possibly can and serve as many as we can. So if you want to be part of our elite group of people, there are limited spaces because our consultants can only see as many. We are taking on 10 new platinum offices by the end of the year, and that's it. That's all we have space for. So if you want to be one of the elite 10, come join us. Be a part of our top-notch elite doctor community. Be a part of our office manager and hygiene and front office communities. Get your operations manual done and live the life that you've only been dreaming of today. Email me hello@thedentaleteam.com and make 2023 truly a year that's unforgettable. We are a complete tax write-off. And like I said, we are only taking 10 offices. So don't get left behind. Be one of those 10. And I cannot wait to give you the biggest, warmest welcome to completely and utterly changing your life for good. Welcome to the Dental Aid Team. I can't wait for you to join us. hello@thedentaleteam.com. Cheers to 2023 and making you your best self yet. And I just think about how many times have I tried to show a patient, like, do you see this little gray triangle right here? Like, here it is. And when it gets this little bit lighter gray, then we know it's in a worse spot. Like, trying to help them see those cute little triangles and show them. Whereas this is just in full color. It's no longer literally black and white. You've got colors, which I love. And I think it just educates patients better too. I'm looking at this thinking about a hygienist being able to show where is their bone loss and how much bone loss. Like, that is such an easier conversation to have. It literally spits it up at like 3.46 centimeter or millimeters, 2.18. Like, they have the actual measurement. So I'm just thinking about hygienists trying to explain this to patients as well. We've got the caries in there, then you've got your bone loss, and then you have your radiolucence calculus. Like, we can see it on the radiographs right here, but it's just a little bit easier to show patients. So I feel, one, talk about a great way to train people how to look at this. Two, talk about a great way to show patients so they don't think that you're overdiagnosing. Like, as a dental assistant, patients would always ask me, Kiera, do I really need this? Is this really there? And now you kind of can cut those side conversations because the patient, like, that is a nice, beautiful pink circle right around that decay of like, holy cow, that's like really big compared to the tooth. You probably need that to be fixed sooner than later. And also where it is in reference to the pulp or the nerve, helping them see that that would turn into a root canal potentially.
Exactly. Now, even with the bone level measurements here, there's an example right here that a lot of these settings can be really determined by the practice. So we can say, all right, anything over, 4.5 millimeters, I want that shown in red, or I want anything over 3 millimeters or 2.5 millimeters to be shown in yellow. So when we're presenting this to the patient and they can say, wait, why is this red? And what does that mean? And, what is this little pink blob over here? They're the ones that are kind of probing and asking, the questions and being, again, coming together with the dentist to come up with how to present or how to move forward with treatment.
And what's really cool, Mike was telling me before, is that when you take Xrays, it will actually automatically, you guys integrate with most softwares, it will automatically pull the AI up for you. So it's not like you're having to go and add this on, but it's just a layer. So I think about it like, I go back to when they had the spotlight or you could draw on an X-ray. These are the little drawings that we've tried to draw for so long, just automatically done. And I just think, again, not being a dentist at all, but working with so many, how dreamy is it that you're not relying on your hygienist to make sure they caught things? You're not having to run in there and hope and pray you caught things. Like, I can't tell you how many dentists, again, this is not intentional whatsoever. So please hear that. But they'll be like, Kiera, I saw this patient a year later and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? And the answer is you missed it because you're human. Like, that's real. I've gone into offices consulting and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? We're human. And this takes that human element, that fatigue out, while also educating your patients as well.
Exactly. Now, with all this data and this information, a few years back, I worked at a company that was focused on KPIs and analytics, dental analytics, right? And with all of the analytics companies out there, it really trained me to know, like, okay, if we're gonna improve the practices, we gotta be looking at KPIs. We gotta be measuring, like, keeping record of how we're progressing or if we're digressing. And
Mm-hmm.
up until this point, what really blew my mind about Pearl was we talk about, okay, how much undiagnosed or not undiagnosed, but unaccepted treatment is within a practice. But let's be honest, if the treatment has been on the treatment plan in the patient's records for a year plus and they're not moving forward with treatment, a lot of times there's a reason for that. But for the first time ever with Pearl, we have been able to come in and we can provide a very comprehensive report to a practice based on all of the undiagnosed treatment in the practice. And we do that by really scanning through the last 18 months of Xrays. We'll basically upload all of those Xrays into our system, analyze them, and provide that report to say, now, out of all of the treatment that AI found, we then matched it with what's in the practice management software. And these are all the things that were not ever, presented to the patient, thus unaccepted treatment or undiagnosed treatment.
Mm-hmm. Which I think that is just amazing. And something that's just so advanced and easy to use as well. So I feel like it's a huge added value for practices. Like that's why I was so excited about this. When I saw the slide this weekend, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is truly game changing for practices, for patients, for team members, for dentists. Like I don't see why practices would not want to implement this. So that's something I did ask though, Mike, that I'm curious because I think there might be some skeptics listening. How do we know that this is truly accurate and it's not overdiagnosing, it's not underdiagnosing? Obviously, we still need a dentist there to confirm, but how accurate is this compared to what the dentists were coming through diagnosing as clinicians?
Absolutely. So with all of the FDA clearances that we have in order to highlight and to detect disease and to predict all the things that need to be taken care of. So periapical radiolucency, caries, bone loss. There's a number of different pathologies that we're able to assist in finding on these Xrays. There is, as we went through the process for FDA clearance, there's a lot that goes into that. And the best way to kind of break this down is if a dentist is left alone to read the radiograph and to pick up everything that should be presented to the patient on that radiograph, on average, they're going to find probably between 70 and 75% of everything that should be presented, right? At 70 to 75% accuracy. Now, if AI is really relied on to highlight everything that should be presented, that accuracy goes up to about 80 to 85% if it's just AI alone. However, when AI and the dentist come together to use this tool together, now our accuracies are up in the 90 percentiles. The best way to explain this, there will be times where because of the angulation, because of the quality of the X-ray, there might be things that'll pop up as false positives, right? Or false negatives. The best example of that is, with AI right now on your iPhones, you can go in and with all your pictures, you can type in a generic word like dog in your pictures in your search bar, and it's going to pull up all the pictures of dogs in your phone. Now, when I did that, there was like 400 pictures of dogs, but there were 2 of them that were deer, which means like AI got it pretty dang close, but there's still some fuzziness. Now, if I go in and correct those, that computer learning system improves the accuracy. And that's what happens with AI. AI is continually improving, and the accuracy, as we go along, the accuracy continues to improve, month over month as well. But we're in the 90 percentiles.
That's so great to hear. Okay, Mike, the last part of this, I want you to show us the treatment, like when people become a Pearl member, if they want to. I was blown away. Like 1, this will pay for 100%. 2, I think about all this leftover treatment. Show them like how you guys go back when they become a client if they want to. This is nuts. Like I was beyond blown away.
So what we do when somebody signs on with Pearl is we'll analyze the last 18 months of X-rays. Now, again, everything that I'm showing here, these are
I feel like this is like dental school, guys, like all over again. Like your professors are going to go through your schedule and let you know, but so cool because it's so much leftover treatment and patients that you could help and serve, which is why I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, there really is. And so with this, what we're looking at, the example that I'm showing, this shows three practices or three different locations within a practice. Okay. These locations, we're going to call them Culver, Brentwood, and Palms, represented by three different colors. What this report here is showing is, for example, just with scaling candidates within our practice, as we analyze the last 18 months or 24 months here, for example, this is highlighting that AI detected 2,000 scaling candidates. Now, of those 2,000 scaling candidates, 1,000 of them were treatment planned. So it did go through and match up that there was 1,000 of them that had been presented, SRPs or scalings. And however, only 365 had been completed. So we can go back and really come up with an exact dollar amount and generate that list of, this has $842,000 worth of scaling candidates within the last 18 months of just treatment that we overlooked, we missed. And so how we act on that is we generate an AI-driven schedule and we color code the schedule, the appointments in there where the patients are coming in and AI detected undiagnosed treatment from their last set of Xrays. And I can easily, with my team in the morning huddle, I can easily pop this up, show them exactly what the images are, why, where it's saying that there's predicted restoration. This was something that was missed last time, just so that we can make sure that we're catching everything when our hygienists are going in and performing the cleanings. These are areas where they're like, okay, I need to check here, or I need to make sure I'm looking at this area where AI is detecting XYZ.
I just feel like it's like a quick, it's almost like you're getting a superpower to know exactly where to look. It's cutting down time. I mean, I have offices go through and chart prep every single day. We look at the route slips of what treatment was diagnosed that wasn't scheduled. And what's so cool about this is it's already pulling it through for you guys, and it's already linked for you in your software. So I feel like it's just so awesome. I am curious, Mike, do you have to go, like, I won't say the name, but there are certain softwares out there where I'm within Open Dental, but in order to use their software, I have to go out of Open Dental to the other software and then come back. Like, does this integrate into Open Dental? So when my X-rays are up, it's on there with my schedule. Can it be on my schedule, or am I needing to flip back and forth? It's totally fine. This is super rad. So even if I do, but how does that work logistically?
So this is cloud-based software. And so most of our clients will actually have a tab up in each operatory, and then we'll utilize this as the image reader. And so as soon as the X-rays are taken, they can go in, click on it, Pearl's up in each operatory on the screen. They can click on it and it pulls up their X-rays, boom, right away in front of the patient.
Very cool.
But otherwise, the benefit too is that whether they're at home, the doctor's at home and wants to pull up some recent X-rays or images, it's all HIPAA compliant, all on the cloud. They can access this, pretty much anywhere. So we're not writing it back into the software right now. There are some that we are in, will be coming soon. But as of right now, it's kind of a standalone platform.
Gotcha. But I'm also thinking a lot of operatories have those dual monitors and those dual screens. So you can have your AI one in front of the patient. You can have your software X-rays up and your chart up behind the patient. So that way you're kind of looking at both of them. So doctor can see what AI was recommending. And then you can also see on the other side what X-rays were taken to confirm that diagnosis. Mike, I am geeking out over this because I just feel I don't even care what it costs. Like one more X-ray and you're going to be like one more filling and you're going to be totally fine. And so if people are interested, they want to learn more, guys, we did a real quick synopsis of this, but I just felt end of year, great time for you guys to be just looking to see how you can enhance your practice. And for me, if I was literally given a fairy godmother who was going to come diagnose for me, help me see where it was, as hygienists, as team members, the elevation of your practice, I feel, is unmatched. So Mike, if people are interested, they want to connect with Pearl, they want to find out more about this, I know you guys are super generous in giving Dental A Team listeners a discount if they work with you guys as well, but kind of walk them through how they can get connected with you and what that looks like for them.
Absolutely. So they can go to hellopearl.com. Go to hellopearl.com, and on there you'll be able to register for kind of a tour of our platform, a demonstration of our platform, and then when you do that demonstration, just mention Dental A Team, and we'll make sure that we honor some special pricing for you.
Fantastic. And guys, I just feel, why not? Go see what it would look like. See how much of your practice is treatment remaining on the table, how many patients you could help serve. I feel like if nothing else, it could help you up your diagnosing. But guys, this is the future. Like AI, even though it might not be perfect, this is the future. I would be a downright idiot if I didn't think there was going to be AI schedulers and treatment coordinators coming. And you better believe that I am on this train because I believe that it is going to change the world. So Mike, it was so freaking fun. I am lit up because I love differences in dentistry. I love learning new things. So as a friend and as a colleague in the industry, thank you so much for being on the podcast and just sharing this and getting me excited and hopefully all of our listeners as well. I super appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was great to reconnect.
Of course. All right, guys, go check it out. HelloPearl.com, I think was what it is. HelloPearl.com, schedule a demo. But guys, freaking AI in your practice. I am obsessed. And as always, guys, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time on the Dental 18 podcast. And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental 18 podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.